Hello everyone. I would like to ask you firstly that you can give me a feedback through this paper, through this post-it, and you can take a pen and write something, some idea what do you have, some review if you missed something or any idea, and you can give it me back after my presentation. Types. What are they? As a programmers, we need types because they are easy for us to understand when we are modeling the world around us and when we want to program something. Because if there are no types, it's hard to program something and check that that we are correct in our code, within our code. In JavaScript, there are 7 types, 7 data types. It is Boolean, string, number, object, null, undefined, and symbol. Those are basic JavaScript data types. And let's try to imagine that. Let's try to imagine ourselves that we are in JavaScript world. Now we see only objects and numbers and strings, and it's pretty scary for me because I see just only objects and a bunch of strings. So what if I would like to eat in this world? What to pick and what to eat? So I'm not sure. So let's get back to our original world, and we know that this instance of object is table. For example, this is carpet and this is notebook and etc. So in programming, when we are programming in JavaScript, we can do better when we program this code, or if we compile it thanks to TypeScript to JavaScript. In 2012, Anders Hejlsberg, the lead development of TypeScript team in Microsoft, firstly showed that there is a way, and that is TypeScript. Now, I will show you some content of my presentation. So, TypeScript from the beginning. I will say what TypeScript is, and some installation, how do you install it, compilation, how we can compile our TypeScript code into JavaScript code, some basic configuration, basic types, enums, interfaces, classes, functions. Those are necessary for how we can so we can program our code and application. Type inference, why TypeScript? Why to use TypeScript? That's I think that's and questions, and some questions you can have. So, what is TypeScript? TypeScript is type-strong programming language. It's similar to C#, because C# is also TypeScript strong type-oriented language, and in TypeScript we can also use objects. So we have object-oriented. We can use object-oriented programming in TypeScript, but in JavaScript, it's not impossible, but it is very difficult and hard for us. Also, it is a superset of JavaScript. So, what do you know from JavaScript? From JavaScript, you can use in TypeScript. A lot of rules. rules everywhere. It's open source from Microsoft, and this is the process how the compilation works. So on the left is a source code in some file.ts, and it is compiled by a TypeScript compiler into JavaScript code, which you can run in Node.js or a browser or anything where you can run JavaScript code. How do you install TypeScript? First way how to do that is thanks to Node.js. You just download and install it, and then you can execute command npm install g TypeScript, which or what installs your TypeScript into your global environment. Or thanks to Visual Studio. When you install Visual Studio, you will have TypeScript also. And for another editors, you can use plugins for Sublime, Atom, Eclipse, etc. Now it's time for some demo. So I prepared package JSON, which is basically some Node module package, and I prepared some scripts for compilation and for execution and for starting the program. But first, let's do install TypeScript into our project. So I will do that by defining dev dependency as a TypeScript. Something's wrong. Okay, I'll try it manually because I know that the latest is 3.4.5, and now I will run yarn and install it. So now in Node modules I can see TypeScript, and now I can, for example, create file. I didn't save it. Now I know. I don't have a TypeScript yet, so I have to run it again. Now I have TypeScript here. No, okay, it's not here. I'm not sure why. Okay, but I believe it will work because it was shown here.
Didn't provide argument /d.
/d
to install as a dev dependency. Oh no, actually no.
It's not.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's compile this file. What will happen? So I can just execute this command because we have this command. We have this script start, and which is composed by yarn compile and yarn execute. So the first script will run a compilation process for index.ts, and then we run this index.js. But it's not necessary, so we can compile it. Just compile. Yarn compile. And there we see index.js. It's empty. Correct? We have empty index.ts. Now I will show something from those basic types. Oh no. Maybe better will be that I will show you the configuration, basic configuration. So we have a possibility to configure our TypeScript by tsconfig JSON file, and it will be done with TSC, which is TypeScript compiler, and with init switch. This will generate for us a tsconfig JSON with a with a bunch of settings and or configuration commented. So I will delete, or I will remove those not needed or not generated. Yeah, those are, so we can see the basic ones. Let's see what we have here. So we have target option. So it means for what kind of ECMAScript standard we are compiling or we are programming. Then there is a module, what module we are using, module code generation, of course. And if we will let TypeScript to take care of our coding, so it means that, for example, some variable could be null or undefined. So if I will leave it, if I will strict leave as a true, TypeScript will take care of me. But if I will switch it off, it will just don't say nothing. Just, it's okay, I don't care, says TypeScript. And then there is this ES module interop, which, as it is said here, it enables and limit interoperability between modules. So it's not so wanted as those previous ones. So I will save it. So this is how you generate your configuration file, tsconfig JSON. Now, basic types. In the beginning of the presentation, I talked about basic types in JavaScript, so those types are also in TypeScript. So first one is, for example, it's Boolean. So for example, if it is night, and I say it should be Boolean, so now I should say something like true or false. So I can say true. And it says, I don't have something here. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, expected any variable enum. What the fuck is this? Well, let me restart my VS Code. Well, I'm not sure what was mistake, but now there is no error, so I can safely type true to this variable. What if I am in JavaScript? I can assign any value to this variable. So, for example, I can say something like string But TypeScript says no, it's not. It's not possible to assign a string to Boolean, so we have to write true or false. But next we have, for example, string.
Is it able to assign into the Boolean number 0 or 1?
I don't believe it. It's number. It's type of number. Boolean is false or true. So next, number, for example. So, for example, pi. And it will be a number. I will say explicitly that this will be number. So I can use native type and assign to our variable pi. But I cannot assign it false, which in JavaScript you can do. Let's keep it, for example, to 0. Next, constant, some text. This is empty text. You cannot assign object. For example, this is representation of object. You cannot do it in TypeScript. So it is, as you can see, TypeScript is very strict language. It's strong type language. Also, I've mentioned in content that I will talk about type inference. So if I say I have this variable, I can assign it some string, and TypeScript, this static type checking process behind TypeScript, knows that the text. Okay. I say that there is this type is actually test. You can have. It sounds crazy in saying that you can have also test string type, because that I use the const. So if I use let, it is string, because in the const you cannot assign anything else than what is assigned already. So here I rather use this string, this let keyword. Then we have also object as object type, and basically it's this expression. This is object. There's also symbol. Okay. Well, I'm not sure why. Well, I'm not sure why I'm not able to do it right now. Only refers to type, but is use new symbol. No. Okay, I'm not sure right now why it's not possible, because I have never used symbol before, so maybe some issue, something to learn. Now, what is added to TypeScript? Because it's not in JavaScript, obviously. Those are, for example, enums, interfaces, classes, and functions. Functions. They are in JavaScript, because JavaScript is functional language. So enums. So, for example, color. We have red green and also blue. Those are basic RGB colors, color set. Now, when I will compile it, what will be the output? What will be the result? Any guess?
Nothing.
Anything else?
Sorry, Constance.
Sorry?
Constance.
Anything else? No? Okay. I will show you. It is this bunch of code. It's scary, right? This is basically, if I will describe it quickly, there is a variable color, and then there you can see immediately invoked function. That means that after execution of this code, for example, if there will be some code after this code on line 7 or 8, I can use color as enum because I assigned those strings and also numbers into color somehow into this color object, because we can see that there is an object. So color is object, and then we assign it to this object those numbers, and then it's like keys and values. For example, what if I want to assign to the red some string, for example, something like this? Well, TypeScript doesn't like something. What is it? And a member must have an initializer, because I have initialized this red. I also have to initialize the rest of the members of color. So, for example, for green, for blue, for blue, yeah? The result of this, I think you can guess what it will be. Yes, I believe you guessed it correctly.
Can I assign a value green to the red?
No, you cannot. Yes, interesting question.
No.
No, sorry.
String with 3 letters.
Like this?
Yes.
Yes, you can do that. It's possible.
Does it really work?
Sorry?
Does it really work? Because it will change the function to the non-blocking.
Really? Let's try. So this is the result. Any question about enums? No? Okay. Let's see interfaces. Interface is TypeScript specialty. So, for example, animal, and I will say that our animal, it will have legs, for example. Yeah. So, what will be result or output after I will compile it? Question. Any other guess? Nothing wins. What if I will write a class, for example, doc. What will be the output when I compile this? Question. Output is representation of class that can be executed in a JavaScript environment, in environment where JavaScript can run. So it is immediately invoked function, and the first function is a representation of a class, and the second doc, as you can see, it is basically it's a constructor.
Is it dependent on ECMAScript version?
Sorry?
Is it dependent on target ECMAScript version?
Yes. So now I can say I have some animal, or for example animal 1, and it will be new dog. So this will compile. Or animal 1, new dog. Not strange. Not strange, I believe. And next, functions. So you can also have functions in class. So for example, something like bark. Again, I will run compile, and we can see what will be the output. Yeah, this is a way how to write instance functions into our class in JavaScript. We can also have a static function in TypeScript. So we write static, for example, create. Now what will be the input? Input we know, so input, but we know input, but what will be the output? As you can see, we are assigning to create property of this doc, of this variable, our function, our static function, and then we can use it and call it, invoke it like this. Let's try to program something what I call type guard. So I will create some animal 1, and I saw it in JavaScript world, not in TypeScript. So I will just write that this it will have some 4 legs, and it, for example, bark, something like that. So I saw this object, this animal. It has 4 legs and it barks. So now we can also as we know from C#, we can implement. That's the keyword, to implement an animal, an interface. Sorry, but we have to implement this interface. As an assigned in constructor, so we have to. We can say for. This is the definition of dog. Dog has 4 legs and barks also. So now I will write typeguard function. Not just like typeguard, but dog type guard function. So we know that through our application we are dealing with the dog, not with just some object, which animal 1 is actually right now. So as this will be our input, and it will be e-animal, and it will return value that, or result of expression that O is dog. We can do it like this. That O has legs, and it has 4 legs. So now if I will write type guard, and I will go there and I will input animal 1 into this dog type guard function, everything works smooth. What if I will write some animal, what is animal 2, it has 2 legs and it doesn't bark, it do some I don't know, peep or meow. But okay, that's not with 2 legs. so some peep. For example, chicken in our world. Yeah. So if I will change this input into animal 2, well, it looks like it still works. Okay, but on the execution time, it will not work. So we can have a type of that the type of O is a dog. No, I don't want to do that. Sorry. I wanted to do. Okay, now I'm not sure why I cannot write it, but this definitely should. For example, what if I say it's dog? No, if it's any, no. Okay, now my mistake. I cannot handle my dog type guard, but let's continue anyway. So next step is why to use TypeScript. the compiler, when we compile our TypeScript, catches type error and show us what we have done wrong. Also, static type checking in design time. So when we are coding our application, we see our errors immediately. Also, types are best form of documentation. So let's imagine some huge application written only in JavaScript. It is insane to imagine that lots of hours and hours coding. So that's why I would choose TypeScript over JavaScript. So today I showed you what is TypeScript. We installed TypeScript by npm. Also, we compile it. I showed you some basic configuration. How do you generate this tsconfig JSON file where you can find and configure your compilation. Also, I introduced you to basic types of JavaScript and also TypeScript, some enums, interfaces, classes, and functions. I didn't show generic types. Okay. Let's show generics. So I can have a class which is animal, and I can have this, for example, something like name, get name. So now I know that that this I variable, which is input of my getName function, is type of T. So generics are working here very similarly as it is in C#. Let's back. And this is my confession that I would like to rather use TypeScript than JavaScript. Any questions?
How to make lists?
Lists? Like types? Arrays. I can show you.
In the 7, it's one of the 7 types.
Actually, array is not type in JavaScript. Array is object in JavaScript. So when you see array, it's object for JavaScript eyes or in JavaScript world. So I can show you. If you want to know any of type, I will write down here this command type of and this empty array, and there we can see. So I will also start it. So it will show us the type of array in JavaScript, respectively in TypeScript, and as we can see, it is object.
Which is mainly in JavaScript, not TypeScript. It's the number precision, like in C#, we have integers, signed, unsigned, and 32 bits, 64 bits, and floats and decimals.
Well, I'm not prepared to answer your
no
question.
It's JavaScript, not TypeScript.
Yeah, it's more JavaScript question. Anything else you would like to ask? about TypeScript, about compilation, about configuration.
About the source maps.
Source maps, yeah, you can have them. You can have a source map. So, what is source map? Thanks to source map, you can debug through your code, through your debug in your TypeScript code. So there is this command source map. It's default in there's a false. So now save. Now I just compile, and it will generate me source map of my index.js, and then I'm able to debug through my code. Well, but I don't see any source map here. Inline, no. Okay, let's see. No. Well, it looks like that maybe JavaScript and TypeScript, that there is no difference right now, so I will do some class. Foo. I'll compile it now. I hope there are some source maps. Again, no source map. I'm not sure why. But this definitely should generate, as it says, generate corresponding map file. But I'm not sure why it's not happening. So I will try to this inline switch, inline sources, inline source map. Switch it on. And then we should see in our index.js inlined our map. No, it's not here. I'm sorry, I cannot answer your question, but this should be definitely the switch. I'm not sure why right now I'm not able to generate it.
The JavaScript gods are against you.
Yeah.
So, Luki, do you debug the TypeScript in the Chrome or inside the Visual Studio?
I'm used to debug application code in Chrome. Yeah, in Chrome.
Is it any good compared to Big Visual Studio and debugging a C# code?
No, I believe that there is no big difference between Visual Code and Visual Studio. Difference between like developer experience. No difference. I feel no difference.
Isn't it bad that when there's an exception that happens in the C# code, that it like brings the Visual Studio up front of you and it's exactly in the line?
Well, actually, I'm more in Chrome, so I'm not sure whether it is or is not revealed, our exception in Visual Code or in Visual Studio. But I believe that it will fail and it will stop the pointer.
You still have to switch screens, you know? I don't know.
Well, I'm not sure.
Is it taking much longer to compile your project? How long does it take to compile your average project in TypeScript? Because it compiles 5 seconds in an empty file, you know. So.
Well, my notebook is maybe on some. I have batteries, and I'm on battery, so I'm not sure if there is a performance. Can I?
So it's not that bad on the desktop, right?
Yeah, it's on best performance, so I believe it's wrong. It was it's somehow strange that it took 5 seconds, maybe more. But usually it takes to compile TypeScript on my desktop for 10 to 20 seconds maximum.
It's Microsoft Defender, Intel
Yes.
mode, and then down. It's
Good guess. Any other question? If not, thank you. And if you have your yellow post-its, please give them to on the table. And thank you for your attention.